Okay, good morning, everybody. So we talked about JavaScript and we looked at how JavaScript helps us with the behavior part of the UI, the front end. So today we'll be looking at jQuery. So jQuery is a JavaScript API jQuery is a JavaScript API that's used to make your life easy while while coding for web applications like JavaScript. Okay, so you have to write a lot of code in JavaScript, right? Especially to do somewhat routine stuff, you write a lot of JavaScript. So what jQuery did was it made your life easy by providing a simpler API. It provided a very simple API, and under the hood, it uses plain simple JavaScript. Under the hood, it's JavaScript. So there is only one technology, it's JavaScript, and from the behavior side, right? But JavaScript is so generic, and then also even to do somewhat simpler stuff, it's somewhat big deal. So what jQuery did is it provided very nice API, very nice methods to make your day-to-day life much easy. That's it. It's a simple JavaScript library which makes your life easy. But it's under the hood, it's all low-level JavaScript like document.getElementById, document.getElementBy document.get by element, get element by ID, get element by name, whatever the methods that we have seen. It's same, but it provides a very richer API. jQuery provides much richer API by encapsulating all the complexities and in it. It's exposing very simple API. So simplicity is what makes jQuery powerful. jQuery is there are probably tens of JavaScript libraries out there, but jQuery is required for jQuery is number one. jQuery is the most popular JavaScript framework, undoubtedly. So it's been used by all these big people. You know, it's supported by Google, Microsoft. Okay, everyone is using it nowadays. So simplicity is one of the main reasons, but the second reason is we have a lot of browsers, right? We have IE, we have Firefox, we have Chrome, we have Safari, etc. So while all these browsers support decent level of HTML, decent level of jQuery, but they have their own differences. So certain elements are not supported in IE, certain elements are not supported in Chrome. So the support is slightly different in one of the browsers. So each browser is definitely different. So if we play with the DOM by ourselves with plain vanilla JavaScript, So we have to write a lot of code saying if it is IE, do this one. If this feature exists, do this way. If feature does not exist, then do this way. If it's Chrome, this particular version, then use this feature. If it's older one, do this feature. So we'll have to write a lot of code like that. So that cross-browser compatibility issue has been solved by jQuery. So you use jQuery, and jQuery is going to figure out that. So if it's open in IE6 or IE7, one of the oldest browsers and one of the ugliest browsers, even jQuery will take care of supporting that one too, if you use the appropriate version of jQuery. Same stuff in various browsers, it will make sure that it works, because under the hood it changes. It knows all about these browsers and their versions, how it has to, what's been supported, what's not been supported by those browsers. So you don't have to worry about this cross-browser compatibility. Okay, so it's simple, it's cross-browser compatibility, and that's and it's jQuery has been so flexible in its architecture that it's actually plugin based architecture. You can build your own plugin and improve the jQuery. You can use the same jQuery concepts and improve by adding more plugins. So it's a plugin based framework. That's another beauty. So the jQueries, if you open up the jQuery and look at the fundamental feature of jQuery is nothing but you have your HTML DOM, right? You have your HTML DOM. So like you have your body element. You have your body. Let me write here. So you have your body. You have your table. You have your unordered list. You have your list item. You have your list item. You have your unordered list. So this is your unordered list element, and this is your table element, right? A node. So in your DOM, this is your DOM tree. This is how your nodes are set up in the DOM. So body's child is table, table's child is UL, UL's parent is table, table's parent is body, and LI's parent is UL, UL's child is LI, LI and LI, these two are siblings. So this is a typical DOM, right? So what jQuery, one of the things that it made so simple is selecting these DOM elements in DOM tree. Selecting it. These are called selectors. We looked at the selectors as part of CSS, right? Selectors. Remember, we have the ID selectors, we have the class selectors, we have the element selector, right? It actually, jQuery uses those CSS-like selectors, but it has increased its horizon to make it even broader and deeper both. So the first part is it provides a mechanism to select the DOM elements. So it provides the selectors. So if you're looking for an unordered list, you can just say that, you put this in a single quote and say that, hey, this is, if you put UL, right? Then in your entire DOM, it will bring out all ULs. It will automatically select all unordered lists. If you want to be specific, then you can say that, hey, UL with the ID, let's say cities. See here, this is the ID, right? This is an ID selector, right? Hash is ID, dot is for class. We looked at it in CSS. So here, this means that, hey, I'm looking for UL, an unordered list with the ID cities. Then you may have 100 ULs here. Within this DOM, you may have 100 ULs, but it it selects the one. It has ID called cities. Oh, I'm breaking. Okay, so this way you can select the unordered list with the ID cities. You can also say, hey, give me an unordered list, or select all the unordered lists with the class USA. Give me all the unordered lists with the class USA. This is CSS class USA because you have a dot here. One powerful thing that jQuery is providing is selectors. So it provides the ID selector, it provides a class selector, it provides just the element selectors, and it honors the descendant selectors. All the stuff, it's very, very, very powerful selectors it's providing it. So my point is that you can select these elements, in DOM very, very, very easily. Once you select it, now you act on it. You may want to read the HTML, or you may want to update the HTML, or you may want to remove an element. You may want to add an element next to it. You may want to add an element before that, or you may want to add an element after that. You may want to do 100 things. So the first step is selection. So select the element in the DOM. Select the element or elements in the DOM elements, select them, and now you either read them, you can read whatever is out there, you can read the HTML, you can read the text, you can read the attribute, you can do whatever you want to do it. Either you can read it, or you may want to update also. You can update the HTML. You may want to remove the element. You can even remove the elements. You can change the attributes, right? You can change the attributes. CSS, or you can read the CSS. You can read the CSS. You can read the CSS. You can change the CSS. So your jQuery makes your life easy with all of these things. Once you get the element, you can do all of this. It's beautiful. It's very simple to do it. I'm going to show you how we do it. Okay, before we move on, let me show you an example. But before showing an example, I wanted to tell you something. So your HTML, when HTML gets loaded, yes, you are reading the nodes from the .html files, yes. So you have your HTML file, right? You have your nodes, okay? All of your HTML tags, your body tag, div tags, table tags, UL, LI, all of these elements, right? In the complete node structure. So your HTML has not only these DOM elements, it also has images. It also has images, any videos, audios, any of that, you know, videos, audios. It can be, it may have a lot of other elements other than the core DOM elements, right? .9% of the times, you want to read your DOM, you want to read your DOM elements, you want to select your DOM elements after the DOM has completely been loaded in the browser. You want to wait for the nodes to be loaded in the browser before you start playing with it. Are you guys with me? So before you try to select an element, before you try to select a node in your DOM, you want to wait for the whole document to be loaded. When I say document, I'm saying the total DOM should be available. So that is why you want to write all of your jQuery, all of your JavaScript. You want to wait until the DOM is ready. You don't have to wait for the images to be loaded. You don't have to. You don't have to wait for audios to be loaded. You don't have to wait for your videos to be loaded. But your HTML DOM should be ready. Once the HTML DOM is ready, then you can start playing with it. Oh, can you give me that element? Okay, can you change this HTML of this guy? Okay, can you change the attribute of this guy? Can you read a CSS? Can you change the styling of this guy? You can do all of that once the document is ready, once your DOM is ready, right? So typically we write all the complete JavaScript once the DOM is ready, once the DOM is available. Okay, now let's get into how we write the JavaScript. So JavaScript, jQuery wrote a simple function called jQuery. It wrote a simple JavaScript function called jQuery. You call this jQuery function for everything. Whatever you want to do it, you call this jQuery function. Everything that you do in jQuery, you do it by calling this function called jQuery. In fact, you don't need to write this whole jQuery, jQuery of something, jQuery of something, jQuery, like your function, right? So you don't need to call this one. They created an alias for jQuery that's called $. So if you call your $, then you're calling your jQuery function. So your $, is an alias to your jQuery. Instead of writing the whole jQuery, you are just writing your $. That's all. So whenever you call the $, it's nothing but you're calling the jQuery here, right? So now in jQuery, you can select anything, right? So if you want to select something like, let's say there is an UL here, right? Okay, this is how you select it. So here you are calling the jQuery, okay, and then you are passing your selector. So here you're passing an element selector, but you can pass an ID also. Then it selects and gives you all the objects, all the JavaScript objects, or all the element objects that are eligible for this one. Let's say you have 100 unordered lists in your complete HTML page. It gives you all 100 just by doing this one. That's it. So you are calling your jQuery, and now you are passing, hey, give me the elements that match this particular selector. You're passing the selector here. Or you can say this, hey, give me the UL with the ID cities. Then it gives all the ULs that match with this criteria. Okay? And after this, so once you get this, you got the object. On this one now, you can use all of your jQuery methods. You can say .html to, see here, there is a method called HTML. So you just call that HTML and it gives you the HTML. See, all these while in plain simple JavaScript, you have to do a document dot get element by ID dot inner HTML. Remember that? So you don't have to. Here, it's providing a simpler API. So .html will give you the HTML. In fact, if you want to change the HTML, you know how simple it is. You give your new HTML in your as your method argument. That's it. It will change. It will change the HTML. It is that beautiful. And it takes care of the cross-browser compatibility. And a lot of times when it selects a lot of elements, right? When it selects more than one, you have to do your for loop in JavaScript. But here, here also you can definitely use for loops. But here you can do a lot of things across all the eligible elements that it has selected. With jQuery, it just goes to each element and applies. If you say that .css for all the ULs with the ID cities, then it's going to, if it finds 100 elements, it's going to apply that particular CSS to all 100 elements. That is the beauty. Okay. So this is how we do it. But the only point is that, okay, I'll go ahead and do it. Maybe let me show you an example. Let me show you an example. Okay, Sean, it's time for questions. And then modifying and writing them where?
Yeah. See, you said that you can read up the nodes and modify them, right? Modify them, change them, delete them. So you are saying that I'll be reading from the HTML file, all those things, and writing them back there, or
yes, you're updating. Yeah, that's how you'll get the dynamism, right? That's what we exactly did in JavaScript, right, Sean?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. No, I have forgotten a little bit actually. That I have to really come to that in details later on. That's why I was asking. Okay, I got it then. No problem.
No problem. Okay, I'm just thinking we don't need really the web server. Okay, we can, if you want to practice any of these HTML and JavaScript stuff, you really don't need any of this. Okay, you can directly write in a simple notepad or notepad plus, and then you just open up in your browser. You don't need to deploy this in server and all that stuff. You don't. Do you know that? So my point is that Just writing a HTML, right? I know. The only thing is, it's not. It doesn't help me with the styles like your Eclipse. You know what? I'll use Eclipse. I'll just say HTML file jQuery1.html. Okay. So let's say welcome to our store, right? So what I'm saying is that you don't have to deploy this on server. If you know the location of this particular HTML file, you can directly go to browser. You can directly go to browser and open it. So you go oh, by the way, here I did Control O. Control O in Chrome opens up the open, and then go to your Java training projects, and then your jQuery web content, your jQuery 1.html. Look at it. So you don't need to deploy this in server and then go to localhost 8080. You don't need server. You don't need to wait for the server to start up and all that stuff to do a simple HTML, JavaScript, jQuery. All of this practice, if you want to do it, you don't need it really. So you can directly do it here. So let's go ahead and code here. Okay, so yeah, this is how we can, for all the practice stuff, HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, you can do it this way, right? You don't need server, you don't need to deploy anything, right? So this is good enough. And XML, yeah. So now let's talk. So we have a simple H1, right? Now we want to use jQuery, and any JavaScript libraries, where do we want to store it? Where do we want to declare it? How do we declare any of the JavaScript? Any JavaScript can live either in head or in the body, but which is a good idea? Which is a good idea? Towards the bottom of the body, right?
Great.
Towards the bottom of the body, because your whole DOM will be completed, okay, and then you are loading the JavaScript, okay. So now earlier your bootstrap actually depends on jQuery too. See how powerful jQuery is. So if you look at it, so this is how we have used the jQuery. So if you want to include jQuery, so you need to say script source equal to, and this is called CDN. This is called CDN. So CDN stands for Content Data Network. What it does is, you do not have to, ideally you have to download your jQuery. So what we used to do is that go there and then say jQuery download, right? So this is how we go there and then download it. So jQuery has two kinds of versions. One is jQuery 1.x, the other one is 2.x. So if you don't need to support very older browsers, something like IE6, IE7, if you need to support IE6, IE7 kind of old browsers, then go for jQuery 1.x. But if you starting from, if you don't need to support IE6, 7, 8, then go for this one. Okay, then go for jQuery 2.x. This one does not support IE6, 7, 8, so that your loading of jQuery is faster and your things are faster. Your script is smaller, lighter. Okay, so download and compressed. Okay, now again, jQuery comes with in two flavors. One is you can download, if you don't know, if you download your jQuery, all you get is a simple .js file. That's it. Okay. So, and it has two versions. One is compressed version, the other one is uncompressed version. So, if you look at the uncompressed version, you just see here jQuery 2.1.4.js. You can simply open this guy in simple Notepad++. If you look at it, so it's a simple JavaScript. So this is all the jQuery source code. You never have to understand what's going on here. You never have to understand because we have a very good API in the web. But this one is it's 242 KB, right? But there is another version of it. It's called compressed version. Just click on this one, and this compressed version is 83 KB. So if you look at this one, you don't understand what's going on here. So see here, it uses all the variable names as A and B and function names as F and L. So it's like you can't read it, but it's a miniature version. So you can load it faster. That's the beauty of it. Okay. So it doesn't matter for us actually. You can go ahead and copy this jQuery 214 in your here in the web content directly. Okay. And then script source equal to, you don't need to give this one. You can just say script. Yeah, type is, we know type is default JavaScript. So you can say jQuery dash 2.1.4.js like that. jQuery dash 2.1.4. So this is how you have to download it and then reference it. But there is a one more way of getting the jQuery. You don't have to download it. You never have to download it. Okay. All you have to do is, so you can use this CDN. So there are certain Google has one of the CDN, and a lot of other people have provided CDN for this jQuery. So what CDN is that? They will always provide that particular file for you. So every browser, you don't need to provide it. So every browser, when all you are providing is this URL, and it will automatically download it in their machine. So we don't have to provide it here. You can point to a URL in the website. So if you want this version, right, you can just put this guy here, and then you can go and put this guy in your Chrome and take a look at it. See it? This is your jQuery. And if you don't want the min, I believe you have this version too. Yep, this is your regular jQuery. This is a readable version of it. So you don't need to download at all. Okay. So, but I'm just showing you both the approaches. Most of your enterprise, when you join the companies, you will download and use it. You will never, you typically don't use it this way, but this is the easiest way to use it for all of us. Okay. So you are loading the whole jQuery file from the web, and then the next one is, obviously we will have our own JavaScript file, right? So we'll say that whatever the one, let's say main.js, okay, or eShop.js, whatever the JS is. And then we have to load our JavaScript. Since we depend on jQuery, okay, our JavaScript file should be loaded after jQueries. Otherwise, if you put it on the top, then it will say that, hey, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're talking about. This jQuery function, I don't find it anywhere. Okay? So You put it after the jQuery is loaded. That's it. Now you write all of your jQuery in this main.js. Okay. So let's go to, I'll show you another JavaScript source file. So this is where you will write your JavaScript. Now you have your H1 here, everything. So let's go ahead and write the first JavaScript, first jQuery usage. So now I'll say, what is the HTML of this? Is called inner HTML in your JavaScript world, right? So what's the HTML of this H1? So give me H1. So how do I select H1 element here? How do I select? Your dollar, which is your jQuery function, and within that single quotes, and then you have your elements. Okay, and now this gives you your H1 element, and then just say dot HTML. Now you're getting a HTML of that guy. I'll just store this one into var HTML equal to like this. Okay, and then I can allow it, right? I'll allow the HTML, or I can do a console log. Everyone understand this one? I'm calling the jQuery and I'm giving my selector here. My selector is just H1. Hey, give me all the elements that match this selector. What is the selector here? Just the H1, which is your element selector. You don't have a dot. If you have a dot, that's a class selector. If you have a hash, that's an ID selector. If you don't have anything, this is an element selector. And once that element the elements are selected, you're getting the HTML, and that's what it is. Okay. So see here, welcome to our store. JavaScript alert. So that is your welcome to our store is your HTML. Welcome to our store. That's what we have, right? This is the HTML, and we got it, and we echoed back. We just alert it. That's all. Easy. Do you want to change the HTML? Okay, you alert it. And then now what you do is, now again do it. Again use this .html. Let's say, welcome to our store, change text. Okay, I'm just doing HTML. I'm just changing the, see here. Again, I selected the elements here. Okay, all the elements, all the nodes that are matching H1 selector, and I'm changing the HTML to change text. Now look at it. Look at it, right? So it's to start with, you have this welcome store and you alerted it, and then you are changing it. That's how you simply change it. Very, 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 very simple, right? Now,
suppose if we have multiple H1 tags on that page, because H1 is for the element, correct? We are not going by ID or anything.
Right.
So how does it do?
How does it?
How does it do? Like now, since we have only one, it changed the text. Does it do for all of the H1s?
Absolutely. That's the beauty of jQuery. Actually, it will do great when it finds more than one elements. It will. You don't have to write the for loop. It will automatically change all of them. So that's the beauty of it. So you can select this simply, you can append this simply, you can play with CSS, all of that. But before we write another line of jQuery, I need to tell you something. This is your, this whole thing is your DOM, right? I mean, not these ones, but your body and H1. This is whole thing is your DOM, right? Right? What if the DOM is fully, what if the DOM is not loaded fully? Let's say I put this JavaScript here, okay? H1 is not available at this point, but you are trying to read H1, which does not exist at that point. It doesn't do any good, right? You see what I'm saying? So all of your DOM elements are here, but you are trying to load it here. Does it do any good? Nope. So rather than relying on the position of this one, because what if your DOM is in multiple files and you have to wait for all of them to be loaded and etc. etc. So that is why what you want to do is you want to wait for the whole DOM to be loaded before you try to execute any JavaScript or any jQuery. So before you try to do any of that, you try to
So basically, we need to use $document.ready function.
I'm getting there.
Oh.
So you want to wait for the whole DOM structure to be painted by the browser before you start writing your jQuery. So there is a selector for that one also. And we talked about the selectors here, and we talked about reading them, we talked about writing them, etc. There's one more thing called events, right? Your JavaScript is completely event driven. So functions are called when certain things are happened, when you mouse over, when you clicked, all etc. We know all about that JavaScript thingy, right? Here also you have, so you have a selector here, document. This is a document element, okay? So here you have an event handler. So you are saying that there is an event called ready. So when this is your JavaScript and this is your selector, which is document, when document is ready, this is your event. When this event happened, then inside these parentheses, okay, now I'll go ahead and put a semicolon here, but inside this parenthesis, I'm going to write the callback function. What is a callback function? That callback function will be called when this event occurs. What is that event? Document is ready. When document is ready, your callback function will be called. Now you have to write that callback function, and now I'm writing that callback function. Understand now? So here I'm writing a function without name. This is an anonymous function. You can definitely write call me after something like that, after document is ready. You can definitely say, you can definitely name to your you can definitely give name to your function, and then you call this particular function directly here. You can definitely absolutely do that. You can definitely do that, but you don't need to give a name to your function. You can write an anonymous function. How do you write it? Just write function. You're not giving any name, and then directly giving your braces, and then this is your function body. You're writing the function body. This is where we will write all the code. This is going to be standard from this point onwards in jQuery. Every line of code will be written within this body, pretty much. Maybe you'll have 1,000 functions. All those 1,000 functions will be called from here. Okay? What we are saying is that when the document is ready, now that's when you start loading, you start executing all of this, whatever you write here. So you are waiting until the total DOM is painted in the browser. That is what it means. Document is ready. And but the semantics we need to understand here is that when ready event, whenever that the DOM is ready, okay, whenever this event occurs, it will call this callback function, and whatever you put it in the callback function will get executed. Make sense? Got it? And now I'm going to put all of this into document directory like that. Now it doesn't matter where I put it. I put it before or after. Even if I put it before, it's not going to be called. These three lines of code are not going to be called until the total DOM is loaded. It waits until this DOM is loaded. Are you getting it? It perfectly works. Because you're waiting until the total document is ready and then only it's getting called. Simple. I can change this alert. I don't need alert. Okay, directly change the text. Okay. Getting it? So that's why the document.ready is so important. Whatever you write in jQuery, you always write it in document.ready. Any questions? Jyoti, earlier you were asking, so is it clear?
Yeah, yes, it's clear, Venkat. So here you are using the HTML method for H1, correct? For that particular element. Since we have only one element, actually it is representing all the elements on the document. But where can I find all these methods like hide, double click, click, and there will be so many things. Where can I find the information about all this?
Just simply Google for jQuery API. There's no better place than api.jquery.com.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a HTML. See, get the HTML content of the first element in the set of matched element. Look at it actually. Earlier, I was talking about the setting here. So look at this guy here. Get the HTML contents of the first element in the set of matched elements, or set the HTML contents of every matched element. Look at it. When I set it, you just asked this question, right? What happens? It set the HTML contents of every matched element. So when I set it here, every single H1, if you have 100 H1s, all 100 H1s will be changed to change text. But there is a slight difference. When you get the HTML, get the HTML contents of the first element in the set of matched. If you have 100 H1s, it gets the first one here. You'll only get the first one. But when you set it, you will set for all 100. Okay, actually that's the difference between HTML and text. If you look at the text one, get the combined text contents of each element in the set of matched elements. When you get it, your HTML will only give one, but your text will give all the combination of everything, including their dissonance, yes. Or set the text content of the matched elements. In your case of dot text, you will not get HTML elements here. You will not get HTML elements, you will only get the text ones. So all of these jQuery methods are here. Okay. So anyways, so this is how you select it. Now let's say that you have H1 and you have, let's say, one more H1. Welcome to our store. if you have something like this, so now I know when I load the HTML, because when I'm reading it, I should only get the first one. Welcome to our store, right? So welcome to our store. Hope you're doing good. This is what we started with. But when I asked for it, only first one I got it. But after this one, I'm changing. When I changed it, every single HTML, every single H1 got impacted. All of them. How much JavaScript code do you have to write for this one? Give me all the elements that matched with this selector and change all those HTML to this one. It's a simple day-to-day things, right? How much JavaScript code does it require? You have to loop through every single element and change one of them and call the dot inner HTML and every one of them. It's lot of, right? Lot of JavaScript. So you don't have to. That's the beauty. And now let's say, now you have H1 with welcome to our store. Let's say that these guys have two different IDs, right? Greeting, and I'll say greeting 2, right? Now I can specifically change the text. Now I can say that, hey, give me the H1 with the ID greeting 2. Only greeting 2. See that? Only second one has been changed. Welcome to the first one remains same. Right? So this is called the dissonant selectors. So within H1, you are asking for, hey, give me the one with the ID of this guy. Okay. Any questions so far? And now if you want to do only for the first one, you can do that one as well. Dot greeting, and then it should work. Yep, only the first one has been changed and the second one is same. Okay, I mean, this is okay, this is good, but you're changing all of this immediately as soon as you loaded it. But I want to wait until something happens. I want to wait until somebody clicks on it. How do I do that? I want to put a button there. I want to put a button here. I want to put a button here. Okay. And then I'll give an ID, or to start with, I'll not give an ID. Button change HTML. Okay. Button change HTML. So once I click on it, I want the text to be changed, not as soon as you load it. How do you do that? Using jQuery. So jQuery, everything is a selector. So first you write a selector. Now you say button. So this gives all the button elements. And then on. So there is a jQuery method called on. It takes two parameters. The first one is, hey, what is the event? So when I click on it, okay, what is the event? And the event handler. Event handler, meaning when somebody clicks on the button elements, okay, when somebody clicks on any of these buttons in this entire DOM, then do this one. Okay, what do you mean do this one? Okay, Now I will call this callback function. So now I'm writing a callback function or event handler. So when this event happens, this particular event handler will be called. Now, whatever you want to write it, you want to write it here within this. Now, within this, now you put it here. Now, are you guys getting it? Is it too much now? Understand here. This is a button. This is a simple selector. Okay. Once you select those elements, when this event happens, what is that? Click event happens, then this function will be called. Whatever you write it inside, this function will be called. This is again an anonymous function, but if you prefer, this can be a named function as well. This can be a named function as well. Something like this. Even outside of this, you can write a function change text. Okay. Function change text like this, right? And now you call this instead of an anonymous function, you just say that change text. You can definitely do it this way. Oh, why do we have the change text? Document ready button dot click. Oh, is it loading from the cache? By any chance? Okay. Oh, I'm here, right? Yeah. Yeah, right. This function is getting called, right? So what we have to do it here is that we'll want to wait until just load it. So write function. Okay. This is what we have to start with. Welcome to our store, and then hope you're doing good. We have two H1s, and then once I click on it, look at it how it's changing it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you this is an anonymous function. So here, this is how you write 90% of the times. You write a function without the name. So you are declaring a function and then you're just saying that you're writing the function body there. So when a button is clicked, then execute this guy. But I wanted to write actually a named function also. A named function also, and then I wanted to call that guy. Wanted to call that guy. Oh, yeah, that's how the JavaScript loads it and does that, right? So We'll see. Let me not go there for now. Okay. So, yep, once a button is clicked, then I want this function to be called. So, two things we need to understand is that this is an event and this is an event handler. So, when this event happened on this particular element, I want this event handler to happen. Okay. So, this particular function will be called HTML change text. So now that's it, actually speaking. So you have this is what you started with, and once you click on it, your jQuery is changing it. And now using which you can do any number. Anybody has any questions? Jyoti?
Venkat, can't we use the click event itself, $button.click, and then just call that function within itself?
Oh, absolutely. You can. But this is actually a new way of doing it.
Okay.
So this is actually on. You provide you provide an event here and your event handler here. The reason they changed this one, I don't know how recent it is. I'm pretty new to this one too, right? So, but this is a newer way of do it. The reason is that this is pretty separable. Now your API is even better. So actually go to your jQuery API and then call your on. Yep. Oh, sorry. Where is your on? Look at attach an event handler function for one or more events in the selected elements. So you can attach, you can put a comma separated events here on click, on mouse over. Okay. You can do all of this. So mouse over, look at it. Mouse over. I don't have to click it. That's it. So you can do a on click, on mouse over, on focus, on whatever you want to do it, right? So for on all these events, your event handler will be called. Your function handler or event handler will be called. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. There's a small typo. Any other questions? And now this is to change the HTML, right? And now how do I remove an element? Let's say this is one event handler, right? Now let me write one more button here. Oh, by the way, so far we wrote the button event button element, right? Let's say I have two different buttons. I have this button, I have one more button here. So change HTML is one button. What is the other one? I'll say remove greeting. Okay. Let's say I have a second button, right? Now, how do I differentiate between this one and this one? You can do it in a lot of ways, but one of the ways is using ID. Exactly. So change HTML, right? And then the another one is remove greeting button with change HTML, button with change HTML, button with change HTML, or I'll say remove. What is that called? Remove greeting. So give me a button with the ID remove greeting, and when that particular button is clicked, then what I want you to do is get the H1 with the ID greeting and then do a simple remove. That's it. A simple API. The power is in the simplicity. Remove greeting. Just remove it. Right? So it's that simple. You can make your pages. You can build very dynamic websites using this one. And then this is how you can remove it. And let me actually, I don't like this BR. I don't like this break here. Okay, I like this one. Welcome to our store. Hope you're doing good. Remove greeting. Yep. And this is to remove. Now, how do I change the CSS? How do I change the CSS? So let's write one more button. Let's have one more button there and then say change CSS. So now, see here, once you get the H1 greeting, right? Or let's say, let me change H2 with, H1 with greeting 2. H1 with greeting 2. What I want to do is that I want to add the CSS here. So color, oh, sorry, did I change? Is there a syntactical, is it CSS? CSS, right? Yes. Let's read this guy. CSS. Yep. Get the value of a computed style of this one, or set one or more CSS properties for every matched element. There could be a slight syntactical mess. Manipulate. Yep. Okay. The beauty is that we can directly, once you click on it, you can directly see it here. Where is this guy? .css. Okay. Background color. You are getting this one, and then element.css with .css. Okay. Double quotes. .css background color. .css background dash color. Okay. Let's say the background color. Oh, what are we doing actually? Am I clicking on, oh, remove greeting? I'm sorry. See here. So I wanted to do the change CSS, right? A button with a change CSS. So our stuff is not getting actually called. It's not coming here at all. That's it. So I was actually listening on a different, I changed this ID, right? But I did not change it here. So when a button with the ID change CSS is clicked, then call this function. What is that function is doing? .css, and then you give your property name here, and you give your value here. It's very simple.
Venkat, can we also put multiple properties in there?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I think he gave an example here. Look at it. All you have to do is just put them in like an array. See here? You can do it, if I'm not wrong, like this. Like this. But and you can give the column like this. Color is red, comma, right? Color is red, comma, background color, like that. Background color is blue. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is good. And this is good. This is good. So you have an extra of this guy. Yep. That's it. Like this. So you can do more than one. Like that. Okay, so it is that simple. You're changing the CSS, and you getting the CSS is simple too. So if you want to get the CSS, the default, just get the background color, let's say, to start with. Right? This is how you get that, and then you can do a simple console.log. That's it. So once you click on it, you can actually see F12 and then change CSS. Oh, there is a typo. See that? So the default background color is white. That is why you got RGB of RGB as 0000. Okay, so this is how you get the properties, and this is how you set the properties. To get it, simply do give your property name, and then to set it, you give the property name and the value, property name and the property value separated by colon when you are giving multiple, and then you give your curly braces. Okay, and what else? Attributes. You can change a lot of attributes too. What are some of the attributes that we can give? Something like H1, right? Let's say, what are the attributes we can give? If you want to change any of the attributes, something like align equal to left. Look at that. So align equal to left, right? So what we can do is that, let's put one more button here, change attributes. Change attributes. Now you can do something like this. When a button with change attributes is clicked, when a button with change attributes is clicked, then call this function. What this function does is, I'll get the greeting, and then there is a method called attribute. Here, you can get the attribute. One thing I want you to understand is in jQuery, every jQuery function, okay, if you give one argument, then you are reading it. If you give two arguments, you are updating it. Reading and updating, it's a very, 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 very simple API. Okay, with the attribute, now you want to set the attribute of align left, right? You just say that align, and then let's say right. Okay, so this is how you have it. Look at it. So now it's aligned to the right. Now if you say align center, maybe to start with you have your left and then you have in between. So this is how you can change the attributes. And then if you want to get the attribute, it's simple. Take this guy out and you will get the attribute, and you hold on to a variable, align, and then you alert it, you do whatever you want to do it. Make sense? That's it. And then there are a lot of selectors, something like, I'll leave it like that. And then let's use, you have your H1 and H1, right? So let's use like a unordered list. Okay, let's have an unordered list, and then let's say I have a div here. Okay, in the div with an inside the div I'll have a H2. I'll say fruits, right? And then in unordered list I'll have a list item here. I'll say banana, apple, like that. Okay, let's take a look at it, how we are looking here. Yep, fruits, we have fruits, banana, apple, blah blah blah, and we have a div, right? So let's say we have a div with an ID. We'll say that fruits. Okay, and in UL also, for unordered list I'll give an ID. I'll say that probably this one I can say fruits div, and then this one I'll say the fruits, right? I mean, nothing changes here. Now, what I want to do is that I want to change, when something is clicked, I want to change the color of the first element in the fruits. I want to change the color of the first li. So how do I do that? Well, so jQuery provides a lot of options for that, actually. So if you look at the jQuery selectors, so when I say I'll put one more button here, probably. I'll say that change color for first. Okay, change color for first. Now, when this particular button with the ID change color for first is clicked, what I want to do is that I want to understand here, actually. I'll just do an alert. To start with, what I'll do is that, hey, give me all LIs. Oh, give me all LIs. So this gives me all LIs, right? So let's say you may want to do a console log and then give me all LIs here. I'll open up the developer console. So look at it. Once I click on this one, it gave me all the LIs here. So this is the first one. This is the second LI, right? It gave me both banana and apple, both of them. So this is banana. I know it's the complete list. See here, this inner HTML is banana, and then the second one is apple. So I got both of them, right? So now, how do I get the first one, first LI? Well, this is how you get it. So li colon first, like that. So if you give colon first, then it gives you the first li. And then once you get this one, now you can change the CSS. Now you say .css. So take the first in li and change the CSS, and you say that color is color is blue, right? Pretty simple, right? Very simple. Only this guy, this guy is changed it. Now that's it. And do you want to look at one more thing here? I'll do it here probably. Let's do. Oh, by the way, all of this practice you can do it in console itself. You don't have to do it a separate HTML. Look at it, because here also you can definitely do it. So this is your first. And now if I do something like this, give me the first element and then give me the next element, and then look at it. So this is called traversing the node. So you are actually traversing the whole DOM. So you went here, you got this. So sometimes maybe you don't have the ID of apple. Maybe you know the previous element. Maybe you only know about banana. Maybe you only know about the first element in li, but from there you have to take the chain and then you have to traverse the DOM. How can you traverse the DOM? So you start with whatever you know, and then you can say, hey, give me the next one, give me the next one, give me the next one, or give me the previous one. Okay. Hey, everybody can see the screen? Sean can't see the screen, it seems. He can't see the screen.
No, I cannot. Something. It's just the white screen right now. Oh, okay. You have minimized them in the bottom, right? Maybe that's why. But nothing on the screen, is it?
Everybody can see it? Everybody can see it, Sean.
Now it's okay. Now it's fine.
Okay. Okay. So, make sense? So now, interestingly, now look at it. Hey, I'll start with the first one. Dot next gives me apple. And now dot previous will give me back banana. Oops. Dot next. Previous is not a function. Prev, I believe. Prev. Yep. Prev. So we started at the banana and then went to apple and then again went back to banana. So this is called traversing the DOM. There are a lot of methods to traverse your DOM. You can give the next, previous, next sibling, sibling, children, parent, you have. Okay. So that's how you can traverse the whole DOM. So your API is the best source. So the beauty is that you can go here and then click on any of them. So if you want to, for example, find is actually, this is also in the traversing. So if you don't know about find, then go and read about the find, and it clearly tells you how to use it also. So you can find it and you can change the CSS. So it's really good. So API is really good. So you can use it. Okay. So you can use dot first, dot last, all of that stuff. Okay. That's about the traversing. I know I'm only touching the surface actually here. And let me show you some animated things that we can do. Some little bit of animation we can do. Let me define this whole, let's define this whole div, right? Fruits div, fruits, and then banana, apple, and then orange, watermelon, etc. Right? So you have your UL like that. So what I'm going to do is that to start with, I will not display this guy. I will not display this fruits dev. You can do it in a couple of different ways. You can do it in your whole document ready. To start with, as soon as the document is ready, you can say that, hey, give me the dev, give me an element with the ID fruits dev. Okay, and then probably this gives me an option to show one method called hide. So this will hide this guy. Take a look at it. So your stuff is hidden. Okay, now go to elements here. Now look at it. There are fruits here. In HTML, you have banana, you have apple, orange, watermelon, you have the complete UL, you have the complete div with the ID fruits div. Okay, but as soon as you hit it, okay, using this hide function, it actually added this style display colon none. When you say display none, it doesn't display it. Okay, so you can, to start with, you can hide it, but now what you can do is when somebody clicks on it, okay, when somebody clicks on it, something like show fruits, right? A button with the ID show fruits, okay, is clicked. Then what you do is take the DOM element with the ID fruits div, and you can say show. That's it. So you need a button with that ID, right? Let's say show fruits. Now look at it. Yep. So to start with, you don't have fruits, but once you show this show fruits, now your fruits are shown. Beautiful, right? And now you can actually, whatever the to start with, your fruits are hidden. You can actually display this slowly with some animation. You can do it. Actually, you can use your jQuery animation stuff. So once it is hidden, right? So what you can do is you can slide down. So what you can do is, rather than showing immediately, you can do a slide down. It takes for how many milliseconds you want to slide down, within how many milliseconds, or for how many milliseconds you want to slide down. You can just say half second. Okay, so it takes half second. Look at it, like that. If you want to take like 1 full second, like that. You might have seen this kind of animations on a good websites, right? So now change this CSS a little bit, and then once make it look good, and then you slide down slowly. It definitely looks beautiful, right? So using simple, jQuery provides these animated functions too. You have animated functions like a slide down, and then you can do a slide up. If you do a slide up, then it behaves. Slide up is actually. Oops, slide up doesn't work that way. Once you have the hide, you can do it. Okay, you are sliding down, and then let's say you slide down, and then again hide, and then slide up, Hey, like that. So, sorry. Look at it. That's slide up. So you're doing a slow slide down, slow slide up, and then, or you can do actually, what you can do is that slide down for 1 second, and then you can use another function here called delay. You can delay for those many milliseconds, okay, before you start the next animated function. You can do something like fade in for 400 milliseconds, etc. You can do all of this like that. Okay, so that's it. You have some animations going. Actually, I told you code school. I talked about code school, right? See, they have a nice things actually. I'll show you. They have a nice, demo, small things. See, they're building one flight journey or a flight booking application, and then see here. I mean, their CSS is much better. I mean, mine is pretty no CSS, right? Of course, we learned a little bit of CSS earlier. Okay, so once you click on this one, look at it. So this is actually slide down function that we have used it. Okay, like that. So once you click on the flight details, you show the destination, right? And a lot of times when you click on the login button, it actually shows up at that time, right? So you have the div, um, you already have the div, but to start with, you will hide it, but using jQuery, you will display it. Okay. And now I wanted to show you how to add dynamic HTML. I mean, dynamic HTML, we looked at it, like welcome to our store has been changed. So what can we do? Now let's say that so what we'll do is that when somebody clicks on a button here, okay, we will add, how do we add this new one more element, one more fruit dynamically, right? Towards the end, I'll show you how to add another element towards the end or in the beginning. So using some simple selectors. So let's say I'll have a button called add first or add last, right? So when a button is clicked with the ID add last, when a button is clicked with the ID add last, then what you do is that, so can anyone tell me the idea here? Can anyone tell me the idea here? Based on, I also don't know, but based on the jQuery methods, can anyone attempt without looking at the API? Get the last li and then just append to that. How about that? Let's try. Okay. So the idea is that I will select the last li and then do an append. Let's give it a try. So when add last is clicked, then how do I do li colon last, right? Then I'll get the last li and then dot append. Let's see. So before adding an element to the existing DOM, oh, this is important. I'm glad I'm talking about this one. So before adding an element to the existing DOM, what you need to do is, in a JavaScript world, in the jQuery world, what you need to do is, you need to create an empty node. See here, if you go back here, for example, you have your table, you have your UL, you have your li, right? You have your li, all of these nodes. So the first thing that you want to do is first create an li somewhere in DOM and then bring it over here and then append it. We do this all the time. I want you to understand this one. So what you do is first using $ here, okay? Now you want to create an element like li, okay? And then li, what's the new fruit that we want to do it? Grapes. I don't think we have grapes there, so let's do grapes. So write your HTML, whatever you want to do it. We want to add a new li, right? So now I'm actually creating this DOM. I'm creating this DOM element somewhere. I'm not attaching this guy to the real DOM. So now I created a node here. I just created a node here. And this is how we do it in jQuery. First, we have to create an object associated with it. And then we can put it wherever we want to put it. So now, let's say I'll define a variable for this one. I'll call it as last element. Okay? Or, no, why? Grapes. I'll call it grapes. Okay? So now there is a jQuery object that hold this node. Now using jQuery, we will traverse to that particular node and then we will attach there. So let's traverse. We'll say li.last, okay? li.last, which is the last one, and then we are appending. Now let's append this grapes element there, grapes node there. Everyone understanding that? Let's test it. Okay, the fruits are shown now. Add last. Look at it. Show fruits, sure, and then add last. Let's say, see here, we went into the watermelon. This was the last, right? To start with, this was the last element, right? Now, look at it. So I went into the last element and then go to previous, which is orange. Okay, and now I'll go to one more previous, which is apple. Okay, and there I will append. So after apple is where I want to append it. After apple, your grapes are sitting nicely. So this is called traversing through the DOM. You can traverse it, and wherever you find it, you can append it. So you have the append, you have the methods like append, prepend, etc. Okay, and if you want to do a prepend here, I mean, it's pretty obvious you got what's going on here. So you get it before this. So what else you can do here? You can do an append, you can do, these are all traversing. And the important point here is that we have to create this dynamic HTML and then go to the element where you want to do it and then you do it. Okay. Pretty much that's it. Other than Ajax functionality, I wanted to show you Ajax if you guys are ready.
Venkat?
Yeah.
See this jQuery HTML method. Can we use it only for HTML, or we can also use it for XML documents?
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah.
Oh, to retrieve the HTML in between.
Yeah.
This HTML will give you is equivalent to inner HTML.
I can't hear. Your voice is breaking up. Can you hear me properly?
Yeah, I can hear you properly. I mean, little bit of breaking, but I can hear you.
Okay. And on and off, your voice is completely breaking up, and sometimes I can't even hear. Okay, and now it's clear.
Go ahead.
So
You ask me.
can you repeat? Can you repeat?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that this HTML method is equivalent to your inner HTML, meaning if you have this node, right? You have your div node here. You ask for inner HTML, you get all of this one. Right? If you ask for text, actually, you will get this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, without getting all of this HTML elements, without this HTML nodes.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Now your question is about XML.
Yeah, so can we apply this HTML method to XML documents also or not? That's what is the question.
To XML document. Huh?
Yeah.
So let's be first be on the same page, right? So where do you have your XML?
So suppose I have an XML with all these tags and all. Okay. And can I apply this method to that particular?
Oh, you mean generic XML?
XML document.
Like your generic XML?
No.
No.
Yeah?
This is actually no.
Okay.
This is for HTML, and this is a complete HTML node. Actually, XML has a lot of parsers. This is mainly used for HTML. XML has a lot of other parsers. Okay, there are very powerful parsers for XML, actually speaking. So Java itself has a lot of powerful parsers. So no, but I wanted to show you in Ajax, okay, that how we get XML/JSON, and then how do we parse it? We can parse both XML and JSON, and then we can create the dynamic content and display it here nicely.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about Ajax. It takes probably about 40-45 minutes. Shall we finish it off? Everybody?
Maybe we can do it next time.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. So what do you guys think?
How about everyone else?
Sure, I can do no problem actually. So in the next class, then what I'll do is, yeah, since there is another reason actually. Thanks, Uma. So since it's also breaking, it was uh, it was never this bad, right? Is that right? To understand the problem better,